I believe space is what the actor or performer needs in order to perform. So, in most cases, that includes the stage, backstage area, maybe even dressing rooms if you include. But in the performance area itself, sometimes that could include even the aisles, the the audience seats. Sometimes, basically, whatever is necessary in order for the actor to perform whatever it is he needs to perform. The uh, the common saying is that you can see the audience can see you. So my stage begins essentially as soon as the I can see the audience. Once I can see even one person in the front row of the audience, that is where the stage begins. That is when I am performing. That is when I'll be in character before then, but that is when I come alive into the show.
Space to me, I would say, is the place that I can express myself um, and express myself collectively with the band. That's the place that we're given to do that. And I think that space it should be held um, to, I guess, a high standard because I guess the people who perform take what they do very, very seriously. So when I'm in that space, it's almost like a out of body experience that you're privileged to have in that space.
The black box theater is actually pretty different from a traditional theater. Traditional theater, you are on a stage. At the front of the show, the audience is laid out before you. There's a very clear distinction, for the most part, of who is on stage in the show and who is in the audience there to observe and watch. Black box is different because those boundaries are a lot more blurred. You are on the same plane as the audience. So it makes you kind of on the same level. A lot of black box theaters, you'll find they do a lot more audience participation, a lot more breaking the fourth wall, because realistically there isn't a fourth wall. You are there with the audience. The audience is part of the show. It immerses them. It makes them enthralled in it even more so than a traditional stage show where you are at the front looking out over the audience.
My relationship between me and the audience greatly depends on light. I know that when I'm completely just like consumed by light, it creates this wall that is really effective between the audience and I, visually, strictly visually. And for me, honestly, I don't enjoy knowing that I'm performing in front of a ton of people. So that light, when I can't see them, it's really helpful to me to just be comfortable. It kind of brings me back to where I play in studio settings mainly. So when that light is just around me, it really does create this wall. And it helps a lot to just make you comfortable. Yeah.
The concept of theater, and not just theater as just a single moment in time where an actor is just trying to reach out and grab the attention of an audience, but rather the idea that a director is selected, actors are brought in, and rehearsals happen, stage sets are made, transportation goes on, and the whole sequence is brought together as one unified piece only to feed that one moment. I think that feeding aspect and that giving aspect is the most important yet the most elementary concept that you can derive from this whole idea of theater as a whole realm. And myself, it's almost analogous to that of a ship or some kind of pirate maritime, if you will, that the whole building of sets, the director yelling at the actors, the blood, the sweat, the tears, and the crying and the slipping and falling within the building of what that blip of a performance is, that's all buried beneath the ship within the hold or the bilge of the ship, and it's below water, so people can't see it, can't understand it, can't smell it, can't reach for it tangibly as the actor would reach out towards an audience, but rather theater is like that ship, and everything that they see just happens above. There's the sail, and the sail is brought out, and you're propelled forward, and that's all it is. That's all people understand of it. But really, it's this blind ambition of the audience member that they sit and they don't understand really what's happening. They can't see the concept. They can't see everything that happened prior. And I want to bring that to light. I want to open the ship up. I want to expose the ribs, expose the heart and the lungs of this whole realm of theater, and bring out this idea that there's more to it than this moment of acting, that you should be given, you should be privileged with the ability to see the set being built, to see hammers and nails being driven into wood blocking, to see directors yelling at their actors, to see everything that goes on, you know? And I think that bringing that to light really is the performance itself. That every person visiting a pirate ship should be able to go below the galleys, and they should be able to go and see the cannons. They should be able to go and see the goats and the chickens and the prison cells and everyone, you know, swabbing the deck. That should be a piece of the acting. That the acting doesn't begin when you sit in your chair and end when the curtain closes on you, but rather the acting and the performance of theater is when that contract is signed and that first nail is driven into the set, and the sets are made in the workshops and the classrooms and the rehearsals. That you should be able to see that. That's it.
Sorry, I'm like all over the place.